In this week's episode, we're going to introduce to you what TSI is, or better known as Timber Stand Improvement.
Mossy Oak Properties, where outdoorsmen find their favorite place.
Did you know, of all the therapies offered by wildlife management, tractor, tree stand, of all the many therapies provided by this lifestyle, did you know that my favorite is chainsaw therapy?
No, I didn't. Not knowing Cody Altizer, I did not know that cutting trees down for benefit is your therapy.
See, I thought you knew me better than that.
Oh my God, being sarcastic. Yeah. Chainsaw therapy. Talk about it, brother.
Yeah, timber stand improvement. That's the theme of this video. TSI for short. And it is, in short, chainsaw therapy. You can accomplish a lot of goals through TSI. You can improve the quality of your timber, marketability of your timber for future logging operations. And of course, what we're really going to focus on is the wildlife side of things and how running a chainsaw and practicing timber stand improvement or forest stand improvement can increase the quality of habitat on your property for wildlife.
Yeah, and for those viewers that are watching this and don't know what timber stand improvement is, and we're going to do our best not to butcher this, but first things first, anything that deals with large tracts of ground, especially your forest, your woodland species, whether it's pine, whether it's oak, whatever, it's mixed. Contact a service forester, or your local or your state division of forestry, somebody that actually knows, that's certified in doing that. So that way, because that is a chunk of ground that you can't replace if done incorrectly. I mean, you are going to replace it with future trees, but that single tree that you cut down, it's cut down.
You can't stand it back
up.
So
having a plan, the correct plan, not just going out there willy-nilly and doing some stuff. When it comes to the financial aspect of things with timber stand improvement for the money purposes. But for wildlife, you can still have a plan. Definitely have a plan. But it's always good to get certified professional opinion. And sometimes, like whether through the state, most of the time it's free advice. So that always is a benefit for wildlife.
Step one is to consult with a forester. No matter how many articles you've read, YouTube videos you've watched, Facebook posts you have clicked like on, start with a forester. They're trained, they're professional, and they can guide you through this process because, I mean, you and I have been doing it for a while. And I've had my property logged professionally. I've cut down many a tree off of my property, but there's still, as we've talked about before, that uncomfortable feeling when you cut down a tree, you can't stand it back up and get a do-over. There comes a lot of responsibility in timber stand improvement in TSI, so having that professional help with a forester is helpful.
So let's kind of break this down. Timber stand improvement is really just going in there, and when it comes to the financial aspect of things, there's two sides of it, at least in our opinion. There's the wildlife side and there's the future financial, what would you call it? The end result of it, okay, in mature trees. So let's talk about the financial aspect of it. And that is just really going up there, if you're going to do it yourself, is just going into your woodland and cutting the invasives, wild grapevines. You know, loggers don't like those because, you know, when they fell the tree, it grabs and it could, pull the tree. It's not good. And also, it limits a tree with the growth of it. If that made any sense. I don't know.
For sure.
But it restrains the tree is what I'm trying to say. But so that aspect of it, there's so much when it comes to the financial being. And it's not like with wildlife, which we're going to discuss, so we might say the same thing again. But going in there and doing some thinning prior to a cut is a good thing, but too much of it is bad because when you let more sunlight hit the forest floor and hit that tree, there is more branching, more room. And when it comes to the financial aspect of things, that not mean less dollars. So you have to use, again, makes sense to contact a service forester before you do anything when it comes to the money value of it.
That's right. There's two sides of the coin, as we're talking about the timber stand improvement, the marketability of your timber, where you're trying to maximize dollars per board foot and get as much as you can out of a harvested tree. And then there's the wildlife side of things, and you can do them both together, but If you're looking to maximize money in your pocket from a logging operation, you want as many tall and straight trees as possible. Tall, straight, good logs, as many logs as possible out of a single tree. A lot of times that doesn't equal great wildlife habitat, generally speaking. As you mentioned, when we want sunlight hitting the forest floor for early successional habitat on the wildlife side of things, but for our hard and soft mesh trees, we don't like tall, straight white oaks. We like big white oaks with lots of branches. Lots of branches means more acorns for turkeys, grouse, deer. Continuing the wildlife theme, not just your game species, but more branches on white oaks. I think oak species are the host plant for hundreds of caterpillars and insects. More branches mean more caterpillars.
Yes.
More caterpillars mean more, is a food source for more migrating songbirds.
Yeah, overwintering songbirds and migrating songbirds. And it's just not necessarily the, it's the tree itself, but the acorn, the leaf litter from, even the leaf litter, from those oaks producing bigger trees when it comes to the wildlife value of it.
And more branches on a bigger crowned oak tree means more leaves. So again, step one is really to identify your goals. Are you trying to maximize marketability of your timber so you can get as much money out of harvested trees as possible, or are your goals more wildlife focused? Determine that first, and then with the help of a consulting forester, proceed from there.
But can you do both? I'd say you can.
Yeah.
Because there's so many things that you could do that you can accomplish both. Not when you're cutting yourself, when you're doing timber stand improvement yourself, or you're doing the oak release, which is basically letting the tree get bigger, like Cody said, more branches, more acorns, more caterpillars, etc. You just don't go all the way around the tree. You'd only do a part of the tree so they can get sunlight, the competition aspect of it.
Right.
But the invasives and stuff, all that is, I want you to cut as much and spray as much as you can. But there are government programs, there's state programs that you have gone through when it comes to songbirds, where you're clear cutting and doing all these cuts that will benefit wildlife, and obviously the financial aspect of it.
Yeah, working through the NRCS, the Natural Resource Conservation Service, we have done a number of projects through that group where we receive funding to do work that we're already doing.
Yes.
And it's cool because we're already doing the work, we're able to put that money and reinvest it into the property. But if you don't want to do the work yourself, or you don't have time, or your property's far away from home, you can hire contractors with that funding to do the work for you. So it's a great program where you can receive funding to do work for wildlife.
Yeah, for financial aspect of it and wildlife as well. When it comes to contracting this work out, many states like Ohio, they have you go onto Ohio website, Division of Forestry website, and we do a bunch of clicking. There is a list of people that do the work now.
Yeah.
They're guiding you to these people that do know what they're doing when it comes to timber stand improvement, the release cuts, the grapevine, the invasive control. They are qualified people. So that is always a plus. You don't want somebody out there just putting herbicide, spraying it like it's raining.
Yeah.
So having some thought. There's a lot of stuff when it comes to timber stand improvement. None of it's difficult.
No.
And safety-wise, if you're going to do it yourself, it's just safety always first.
Yeah.
When it comes to cutting bigger trees, if you don't feel comfortable, when in doubt, double girdle it.
Yeah.
If you don't, there's trees out there that are not going to fell in the right direction. There's other types that we're going to be teaching you along in the future here, types of cuts to do. So if you don't feel comfortable cutting a bigger tree, don't do it.
Right. No tree is worth hurting yourself or losing your life over.
Yeah.
But if you are doing chainsaw work, we've talked about it before, PPE, especially running a chainsaw, is so important. Those are scary, scary machines. Always steel-toe boots, chaps. Always wear chaps, ear protection, eye protection, helmet, especially if you're cutting trees down. You got to wear all those things every single time you pull the string on that chainsaw. Yeah,
and if you ask a lot of people that do a lot of chainsaw work, it's nothing to be afraid of, but it's always you're just aware of your environment. And especially like the emerald ash borer went through, which a lot of the United States and there's a lot of dead trees, and you cutting a tree can vibrate another tree where it could snap off, and next thing you know, you're laying on your back wondering why'd your buddy hit you. You know, it's like you could be laying on the ground from a widowmaker or whatever. So, you know, again, not to scare you, but to just bring awareness of why PPE, wearing a helmet, chainsaw chaps, all that stuff is important.
Yeah, timber stand improvement is so valuable to landowners because it is what the name implies. It's improving your stand of timber for future timber harvest through the marketability and getting those tall, straight trees, or if wildlife are your goals, you can accomplish great quality wildlife habitat and improve your hunting in the process through timber stand improvement as well. But this time of year, before you go into winter, it's a great time to really, number one, identify what your goals are. You can do both, as we've mentioned. There's no shame in wanting to put as much money in your pocket as you can from a timber harvest. Take it from me, there's no shame in wanting to cut every stick of wood off of your property for wildlife, which is kind of the direction that I walk when I fire up a chainsaw. There's no shame in either one. Identify your goals first, do your research, reach out to those biologists and foresters, and then take the first step to start your TSI journey. What Cody just said is absolutely, this is a time of year, not to repeat anything that he said, but have a plan. Have a plan of what you want to do. This is the perfect time of year to do so. Get on the list with the forester. It's not like there's a bunch of them like calling a plumber. That's not how this works. You got to call. They're usually understaffed, most of them, and private and or state. Okay, call them up, get on the list of people, you know, that they need to see, and they'll educate you on all the programs that you could do to help pay you, or just whatever circumstance or what direction you want to go, whether it's financial or wildlife. They will help pave the way for that. But again, this is the time of year, December, to get those things accomplished.
Mossy Oak Properties. We're outdoorsmen. Find their favorite place.